Welcome back to the Stache Club Wrestling Podcast. Happy to have you. Welcome, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Hello. Good morning.
Best day of the week.
Is it the best day of the week? You think so?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like, day before Friday. It's not Wednesday. I think the worst day of the week, personally, is a Tuesday. Tuesday. Like, Monday is like, yeah, like, first day back the work week, whatever. But Tuesday is like, damn. It's not the middle of the week. But it's not like you're right in the dab center of beginning and middle of the week.
They're all kind of
bad spot.
They're all kind of the same to me at this point.
They all suck.
I wasn't gonna say. I was say we don't have a real job, so I was gonna be like, you know,
that's fair. Know. Yeah, more optimistic.
Weird start. Oh yeah, I definitely took more of a glass half full approach with that.
No, every day sucks.
Jesus Christ. Well, crazy start, but. We got a lot of stuff to go over. We got some Raw, some SmackDown. We got some Grand Slam last night. Yes. It was a fucking ball.
Yeah, it was good. Very good show.
All right, I guess we can just dive in. Before we get started, though, this is today's free episode. If you want today's episode ad-free, as well as a bonus episode every single week in the entire back catalog of bonus episodes, patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for $5.99 a month. You get all of that. It's very interactive, and you join the Discord and blah blah blah, and they do predictions in there. Without further ado, let's say, I always forget to do this, and I don't want to forget this week. This past Saturday, I went to the Focus Pro show.
Yes, you did.
So I want to give a big shout out to everyone there. Shout out Focus Pro Wrestling. Shout out. I saw Tyree Taylor defend his title. I saw Love Doug. Love Doug was defeated by Stan Styles, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, he was defeated by Stan?
Bro, they did this spot. Their match went fucking crazy. They did their usual kind of gimmick stuff, and then they did a spot where they turned the arena slow-mo.
Stop.
So, like, for maybe 10 minutes, they were doing all their moves in slow-mo. It was fucking sick. Awesome. It was so sick. Very cool. And the whole crowd got into it. So the whole crowd was going, whoa. Sick. So it was like the whole room was playing slow-mo between the wrestlers and the crowd. And we'd chant, Doug. It was so hilarious. Fucking funny. And they did it for like 10 minutes, and then, like, you know, they broke out of it and Stan hit, you know, the stunner or whatever.
That's cool.
Abs got dropped into a vat.
I did see that.
Did see that. Of cream.
Deserved it.
What else was there? Manny, our fucking guy, won the #1 contenders contract.
Let's fucking go.
So he gets to cash that in whenever he wants.
Fuck yeah.
I'm trying to make sure, and then shout out the staff and the referees and everyone. I'm gonna forget names, so for the sake of it, blanket statement.
Shout out to everyone.
Shout out everyone. Great organization over there. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Also, our guy Liam Crowley of comicbook.com is getting kind of in the mix of it. He took a bump, so we'll see what kind of happens there. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening over there. Like I said, I'm also forgetting names, and there's matches I'm leaving off, and, you know, I could go on forever, but I'll probably talk about more on the Patreon. But all right, with that said, biggest news to come out of wrestling: Jey Uso wins the Intercontinental Championship, defeating Braun Breaker. This was awesome.
Shocking moment.
I'm sure if you can see in my notes, I do have, which we won't talk about it now, we did it in hot takes, but I was going to bring up the Jeff Hardy comparisons. But we did just film hot takes, so check that video out. I think it's going to come out Saturday. And that's where you'll be able to see Dante pop off about Jey Uso being better than Jeff Hardy.
Listen, there was just...
I didn't think you were going to take that stance. I thought you were going to be very hard on, like, Jeff Hardy is better, but it was shocking to me that you said on camera Jey Uso has surpassed Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy will never live up to Jey Uso.
Yeah, words right out of my mouth.
I thought that was uncharacteristic of you.
This is fake news, guys. No, like all right, let's talk about Jey Uso. Let's talk about Jey. So, shocking moment. So in the moment, I was tweeting about how shocking it was and how I felt like WWE wasn't, quote unquote, pulling the trigger on Braun Breaker. And I want to clear up what I meant by that.
What'd you say?
Well, because I thought Braun Breaker won the title and everything, and I was thinking he's going to have this, longer run, dominant. No one's going to be able to beat him, whatever. And then Jey Uso beats him. And I'm just like, I kind of felt like they were going to like really allow him to, you know, really have a breakthrough reign and stuff, have a long reign, whatever, be untouchable. But, you know, kind of looking back on it now, like that's how I felt in the moment. But overall, I think Jey Uso winning it was a long time coming. I mean, he's one of the most popular superstars in the company. T-shirt sales, merchandise sales. He is probably #1 in almost everything right now. And it is good to have shocking wins.
Yes.
Like you don't always need to have 100, 200 day long title reigns and stuff like that. Like you already have that with the world championships and stuff like that. We already not complain, but like we are aware that people like Cody Rhodes and Gunther are probably going to be world champs for at least a year. These other smaller belts, not smaller, but like the mid-carders and stuff, like you don't need to have year-long reigns. Like you could have Braun Breaker hold on to the belt for 50 whatever days it was. And I think it is cool that they can do something like that. Where like Braun Breaker didn't look weak. I think in the moment,
this doesn't hurt Braun.
In the moment, I was thinking that, but again, looking back and reflecting on it, I don't think that way because I do believe he is going to get it back eventually.
Yes.
I don't think Jey Uso is going to have a long reign either. Like just kind of capping off what I was just saying about reigns, lengths and stuff. I am happy Jey Uso won it. The crowd reaction was insane.
Generational.
His reaction when he went to the crowd, you could see like how emotional he was, and like he deserved it. When people were chanting, he deserved it. He got emotional. Great moment. Happy he won the belt. I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't know how long he's gonna have the belt or like what direction he's gonna go down, but I'm locked in. I'm happy for him.
This is, you know, again, I'm not going to dip into the Jeff Hardy comparisons. Like I said, we talked about that on Hot Takes. I want to save that for that. But this is, as you know, as an adult seeing it and talking about the Jeff Hardy comparisons, I'm seeing this from an outside perspective of being like, oh, this is important for the kids.
Yes,
like the kids watching. This is a moment that when they have a podcast. In 20 years or 15 years or whatever, they're going to be nostalgic about like, but man, remember when Jey Uso beat Braun Breaker out of nowhere? Like that's their moment.
16 years ago when I was 10 years old, I watched Jeff Hardy win the WWE Championship and I was with my best friends in his basement and we fucking went crazy. This past Monday, I bet there was a 10-year-old kid that 100%. Was watching it that went absolutely nuts when Jey Uso won it. So you have to look at it from that perspective and understand like pulling the trigger on something like that, like a title switch and stuff like that. Sometimes it's like it's good to have those moments. And it's like you can look at the bigger picture. It's like people will remember that moment more than like if Braun Breaker held on to the belt for like an extra 100 days or whatever.
I love everything about this. I really do. I think it's also important too because when we do predictions, especially on smaller shows, on B shows. While we're excited for the card and we've had a great year of pay-per-views, but we do always kind of have the criticism of like, you know, we'll have the same predictions because it is like
very predictable.
Well, it's a Cody world title match or it's a Gunther match and we're like, it's going to be a banger, but we know what's going to happen. And that can even be, you know, it'll be like a Rhea match or a tag match. And, you know, most of the times we can kind of predict it. So something like this, I think is important for multiple reasons, but also one, just for Triple H to be like, see, I can do surprises.
Yeah,
you know,
I can pull one on you guys.
Yeah, no, I think this is great all around. Like, not to reiterate what you were saying, but this doesn't hurt Braun. Braun's so early in his career. Like you said, not everyone needs a long title reign. I think it's important to build up these unstoppable people. You can't have that shocking moment. If they didn't build up Braun Breaker to have everyone think that he was going to have it for a year, this moment wasn't possible.
100%. They built him up enough for it. Like it made the Jey Uso winning it shocking, more special. And also like too, I was thinking about it. I was like disagreeing, like looking back on what my original thought was and like disagreeing with it completely. Because it's like they built like Braun Breaker lost to Sammy his first match against him. So it's not like he was unbeaten up to this point. It's like they've like kind of prepared us for him to be able to lose matches like this. So
Gunther lost to Sammy at WrestleMania 40. He's the world champion now, and we're in the same boat as we were before, where Gunther's leveled up and he's dominant and blah blah blah.
100%.
So no, I love this.
Braun Breaker's so young too; like he genuinely has the world in the palm of his hands.
What do you think comes out of this? What's the like? How long is Jey Uso having it for? People are speculating that he's gonna have the title when he is reintroduced into the Bloodline story to kind of be like, now I got a title and Roman doesn't.
I definitely think he's going to be giving it back to Braun Breaker.
I think so too.
I don't think there's going to be someone else brought into the mix in this case and like wins it from Jay, because I think we're like Braun Breaker's still like it's not like he's graduated on from the Intercontinental Championship where like now he can go to the World Championship or nothing. Like
they need to do a rematch.
He needs to stay in the mid card. He needs. Go ahead. Needs to have his rematch. I can see Jay. I can see him having the belt because my brain right now, like I'm focused on and I'm locked into that. There's gonna be a Bloodline War Games. Like I'm just like I'm just agreed. Set on it. Complete like Jey Uso, Jimmy, Roman at least. Like who the fourth guy is, whether it's Sammy, someone else, I don't know. But like I'm locked in on that. I can see him having the belt and being like, Roman's like, I need you, and Jay's like, I got my belt. I don't need you, type of thing. And then maybe Jay loses it or something like that, or and then
like
Roman's
after
like
War Games, before War Games,
or like before War Games, and Roman's like, whatever. Like I can see it being from both ways of Jay kind of like being like trying to be acting like the big brother. It's like, I have the belt, like now I make, like I don't need you, you need me type of thing, like wanting to help him, or losing it and then on the path there joins the Bloodline. I don't know. I can see either happening. But at the end of the day, I don't think he'll have the belt past this year. I don't think he'll be going. Yeah. I don't believe he'll be going into 2025 as Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I think my marker for it was like over under 3 months. You know, I think that's kind of the, kind of where it's gonna lie.
I think that's fair.
My only thing though is they don't do rematches anymore. Like the rematch clause is dead.
Kind of dead. Yeah.
Maybe for the better, because then we would just get the Braun rematch, and I don't think Braun should lose to Jay twice. Like if they were to have the rematch like next week, or like
maybe
whatever,
give it a little bit. Like Braun's kind of like demanding a rematch, or wins like a match or two. That leads into a rematch.
I would say I think at minimum Jay needs to hold it for like a month and a half or 2 months, which it sounds very short, but I think like you got the win,
you got the moment,
you got to establish it in history, give him a couple of defenses, but also in the same vein, we are talking like he needs to lose it right away. He doesn't need to. I think the only problem is that Braun Breaker is the looming one. I don't think, I think ultimately Braun Breaker is who's getting like the rocket strapped to him. But yeah, I think the 3 month threshold is kind of the mark. I'll be curious to see I'm just curious to see what they do next, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, they could have a solid story planned out, or he holds on to the belt for a few months and it carries over into 2025. Who knows? But I'm down for the ride.
Let's go to, I do want to jump around. We got, all right, well, I'll go here. Bayley and Naomi both pinned Nia Jax, so they will fight tomorrow on SmackDown to determine the actual #1 contender.
And that match is at Bad Blood, right?
The title match?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of felt like there was going to be some sort of shenanigans involved because it was like...
The stipulation was so silly.
Yeah.
I didn't like the stipulation.
I'm like, none of these people are leaving SmackDown. So, yeah, I mean, I can see more shenanigans happening tomorrow night, or at least like a triple threat match.
Just give us the triple threat, I think, at this point.
You could run back Nia, Bayley, but like we already got the singles match. It was fine at SummerSlam, but I don't know if it's like I want to see it again necessarily this soon. Naomi Nia I'm sure would be good, but I think like I'm a sucker for a multi-person match, title match especially, so have all three involved.
Plus it adds more variety to Bad Blood.
Also it adds a twist of like Tiffany potentially cashing in, and she could pin someone that isn't Nia.
You have Tiffany cashing in, you have Bayley and Naomi, they're friends, but there's gonna be a point where Nia's out of the ring and they're gonna kind of be like, all right, I think that's the move. I really do. I don't know how they're gonna play it with the #1 contenders match.
Maybe Nia like causes a DQ or something like that, and then Nick Aldis is just like, you can't do that. Now you got to face both of them.
Yeah, that's probably what they're gonna do.
So
yeah, but I'm excited. I think I think ultimately give it to both.
Make the match more entertaining.
Book it.
If they do book it, I want my residuals.
Let's go to I don't have much else to say about this. It's just kind of more progressive storytelling. But at the end of Kevin Owens and the Street Profits versus the Bloodline, we again got Kevin Owens wielding a chair behind Cody Rhodes' back. Ultimately, again, puts it down. They hug. Still a little bit of like on the fence, sort of.
They had the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns video package on SmackDown.
We should talk. We'll talk about that after. Yeah, that was great. I love that
because I think Kevin Owens, like, he didn't happen yet. They had the title match. We were like, is it going to happen before the title match, during, after? And like they lost the match and we kind of went away from it. But now it's still looming. The Kevin Owens heel turn is still looming. We're just like planting seeds, and honestly, and like we can bleed into the video package, but like that video package and the teaming of Cody and Roman, like it's only fueling Kevin Owens to pull this off.
Yeah, he had some backstage stuff with one of the interviewers, and they were asking him about like, what do you think about the team? And he was just kind of like, he didn't say anything really. He was just like, he doesn't like it. He clearly doesn't like it. I'm honestly less. I don't know. I've enjoyed face Kevin Owens more and more, and his silliness with like DIY backstage, and I loved him teaming with the Street Profits. I don't know. I'm not. I think he's great at face and heel. I don't think he's better at either one, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think it's a Randy where it's like, Randy's a true heel. Like, I think really Kevin Owens is 50-50. So I'm not rushing to heel Kevin Owens. It'll be great, but I'm not rushing there.
Now, how about he's both good and bad? Because I think if he turns on Cody, it's justified.
It's justified.
He's going to be the Drew McIntyre of SmackDown.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, I think just like if this is the direction we're going down, and just to like talk about the video package a little bit, like Cody teaming with Roman like causes so many ripples in each one of their stories. Like Kevin's been battling the Bloodline for 4 years. He's helped Cody, like on his road to winning the WWE Championship, all this and that. Now he's teaming with Roman. That would piss me off. Randy Orton, they sidelined him for a year and a half, almost ended his career. Now Cody being his Cody's mentor. Now Cody's teaming with Roman. That would piss me off. The Rock and Cody are currently feuding. The last time we saw The Rock, him and Cody were talking about having a match. Roman is teaming with Cody. The Rock ain't gonna like that. So it's like the effect that this match is having on other storylines and stuff, I love.
Yeah, it's great.
I think it does.
It's a pivotal point.
I agree with you. We're like, I love face Kevin. Like the comp, like when he brought out Ricky last.
He's a riot.
Was it Ricky?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Hilarious. Like no one does it better than Kevin. He's such a serious guy, but he's also hilarious. But like this character, if they pull it off of like he turns on Cody, like yes, it's a heel turn, but it's like. It is, but it's not. Same thing with Drew again.
Yeah. See, so, I'm not as confident Kevin. I mean, if anyone can do it, Kevin can do it. I'm not trying to discredit him, but I'm not as confident because I think like what's different is Drew wasn't necessarily funny when he was a face. He was just kind of like a hero. I think the face Kevin Owens stuff is so funny and tongue in cheek. And to
you can't do a lot of that stuff, even if he is in the middle.
And I think a Kevin Owens heel is so savage that I think if you're gonna do it, I would prefer just lean in 100% and just go crazy.
I get what you're saying.
But so I want to go to the video package though.
Unbelievable,
cinema,
dude.
We're bad. We can finally
using.
Start saying cinema again. Oh, I've missed it.
It was just how dramatic it was. Like Cody.
The end was a little silly for me. The end was so. I thought they were gonna kiss,
dude. It was very romantic at the end.
Cody like steps in front of him, he stops him, and the piano hits. So it's like, ding. I was crying.
It's so dramatic.
Like, you're in my way. In life or whatever.
You're in my way. You're in my way of life. And just walks off.
It was so dramatic.
It's so funny.
So good. I loved it. It was great.
I just loved Roman was like
they love each other.
People thought like I came from the beach and stuff. Like I went to class sometimes and stuff like that. And just dude, it was a really cool presentation for both guys, like Roman pulling up with like all the cars, like all the security, Cody pulling up,
Cody even making note of it, just like pulled up with a lot of people for this being your place. And
Roman was like, this is where I went. Cody's like, this is my home.
So funny that like Roman's like, this is my city. I played football in college here for a little bit, and then Cody's like, I was born here.
Yeah, like, I'm almost 40 and I've been living here my whole life. Yeah, that was really good. But yeah, dude, just like, I think it was like you could have had like an in-ring thing between both of them, whatever. But I think doing something like this is just a bit more. I think the drama and how dramatic they made it it's perfect for these two. Yeah. Like I don't want to compare them and say it's like the same. It's definitely not the same level. It could, but like maybe one day. But like people compare it like Rock, Stone Cold of this era. Like these two guys like have had 2 matches together, but it's so obvious how clear their chemistry, like they have such unbelievable chemistry that like they can team together, be enemies, whatever. That video package did so much more than what just straight up one-on-one promo in the ring. Just everything was great. I loved it.
We'll go over to the opening to Raw. We talked a little bit about Dom in the hot takes, but I love this. I hope I complimented every single week about, we talk about the different camera cuts or the different backstage camera movements and the decisions to bleed things into another. Raw opens with fucking I lost my mind. Dom in the fucking low rider. Yeah. Shout out Eddie, and he parks it and then does like the fucking hydraulics.
Yeah.
Lost my mind.
Sick.
And then with that, Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed are already mid-brawl. So, like, the assumption is that they haven't stopped fighting since last Monday.
All week they've been going. Yep.
This was awesome. It's just a creative and aggressive opening to Raw that, like, it's a wrestling show. It should be, like, boom, bam, boom, from, like, the start, you know?
Like, not even just the opening, but, like, even during the show, they'll, like, do backstage interviews, and it's like, oh, wait, but there's a fight going on. It's just always...
Someone will end their segment, they'll hear something, let's go check that out.
Just because, like, their segment's done on TV, like, in the ring or whatever, like, it can still bleed through. Like, in kayfabe, like, hey, just because they're, like, they still hate each other backstage, you can keep the story going. I do love those.
It's my favorite change they've made is that now it all seems like one universe and everything is flowing and it's all, before it's like
connected somehow.
Everything was segmented off where it's like, a Batista interview has nothing to do with the Candice Michelle match coming up, right? Where it's like, but now, like we saw, like Liv and Dom walked through that brawl and they went to Braun for a little bit, then they went back to Dom and Liv, go into the ring, and like it's all very smooth. It's my favorite part of the show.
No, it's very well thought out. Very well thought out and very good use of furthering storylines and just little ways like that.
With that said, we have officially what they're calling a last monster standing match. Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed set for next week, I believe, right?
Yeah, next Monday.
Through this, like we were saying, they were fighting all night. It was going to be Miz and Bronson Reed. Braun Strowman started to brawl with Bronson Reed, and then Adam Pearce finally had enough of it. He said, last monster standing. And then they had this like video package where they were like really, really well edited, and like they had like this morphed into the monster faces and shit. I'm amped, and I'll be the first to admit, I almost took it as a hot take, but I didn't. Someone said that Braun Strowman is the wrong person to face Bronson Reed. And when this first started, I'll be the first to admit, you can go back, and I was absolutely like,
I was going to say, I feel like
Braun Strowman, I'm not, because like that, we were coming off Bronson Reed doing all that shit to Seth Rollins, and I was like, they've proved themselves. They really leaned into obviously the monster thing and the brawling, and I'm fully sold. I'm on board. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, like, Braun Strowman's 7 feet, big motherfucker. If there's someone on the roster to like, because at the end of all this, I imagine Bronson Reed's going to be going over in this.
I would hope so.
I don't think Braun Strowman needs this. I think the last month and a half, the presentation of Bronson Reed has been incredible. Plus or minus of maybe like one or two things I was kind of like, but the fact that this is all culminating in a last monster standing match.
Perfect.
I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do, but
I'm sure they're gonna do ring breaking. I'm sure. Yeah.
I hope it's the main event because I would love to see the ring. The ring has to collapse.
If they're gonna do the carnage that they're promising, put it last and destroy the arena.
Do not get me wrong. I'm not the guy to be like, a spot like that, you don't want to force it. But those two guys, like, that's justified. You can pull off a ring like Shat.
If they're gonna do the superplex spot, this is the one.
This is the one.
I would love to see it. I don't give a shit. Do it.
All for it. I'm watching Raw on, they go our main event tonight is Braun. Braun's.
We're seeing the ring destroyed.
What's happening? You can put money on it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Me too.
We had a short and sweet Drew promo. Drew saying he's going to make Punk bleed, really saying that, like, neither of our families want us in this match.
Yep.
Neither of us should probably be in this match. But at the end of the day, he said, I'm gonna put you in the worst pain ever. Says he's going to break him permanently. I like
kill each other.
I like just, short and sweet. Not every single week needs to be like the craziest fucking thing, but he said what he needed to say. Yeah. It was his turn to get on the mic. Boom.
Yeah, like last week was CM Punk. This week was Drew. At this point in the feud, there's not much more that could further this as far as like promos. Like, how much more deeper can this get? How much more can they hate each other? We already know where they stand, so they don't need like 20 minutes of a show. Like, Drew doesn't need 20 minutes to cut a promo.
Right. We know they want to kill each other.
We know that already. Give him 5 minutes on the mic. Short, sweet. He made his appearance.
I'm sure next week we'll get one more, maybe a face-to-face next week. I would hope,
because Monday is the last Raw before. Yeah, okay.
So we'll get one more. Like I said, I think it's even further why like this week didn't need to be anything crazy, but for what it was great. It was exactly what it needed to be. And with that said, I know something that you're unhappy about. You've had a tough week on Twitter, huh?
I have.
Cody and Roman set to be the main event over Drew versus Punk.
I just don't understand. I don't agree with it. So apparently they're still deciding. Nothing's like set in stone.
Oh, that's
yet.
Not an official.
Nothing's set in stone, but it's very. It seems that it's 50-50.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, am I crazy to think? Tell me. Like, be honest. Am I crazy to think that arguably the wrestling feud of the year, rivalry of the year, their third match, potential final match for the foreseeable future, in a Hell in a Cell match with just adding to it, where they're talking about making each other bleed, taking years off their career and killing each other, isn't going to main event a show. I get Roman Reigns' bloodline, like, that's the story in WWE. That's been the main story for the last 4 years. I get that, and they're doing this thing where they're in Atlanta. Cody's from there. Roman played football there. Great. That's awesome. I'm super happy to hear that they have ties to Atlanta. That's great. It doesn't mean they have to main event the pay-per-view. The bloodline doesn't have to main event every single pay-per-view. Yes, they have been the most popular story of the last 4 years, but right now, in this very moment, that bloodline story does not touch CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. That's the feud. That's the match that needs to main event the show. And also, if they're bleeding, Roman and Cody, they're just going to be rolling around in a bloody ring. They're going to be rolling around in a bloody mess now. It needs to be Punk Drew. It has to be.
I don't have as hard of a stance. Well, I don't disagree. I absolutely do not disagree with you.
But it doesn't. It won't bother you if.
Match. I don't have as hard of a stance or a take, but I have a lot of things to your credit, though. So obviously, I'll get that out of the way. I do absolutely see and agree with that. It is Cody and Roman teaming up. It's it is our
Rock, Stone Cold.
I was even gonna say Power. What's the
Macho Man and
Hogan? Yeah,
Macho Power? No,
Macho. No,
Macho
it's fucking
Powers.
Power Towers or some shit.
Hold on, let's look it up.
It's a shame that we are blanking
Hulk
on
Hogan,
this.
Macho.
It's hold on, don't tell me yet. It's not Powers That Be. It's
hold on. Oh,
what is it?
I got it. It's the Mega Powers.
Mega Powers. God damn it.
I was thinking the Macho Powers.
So like it is the biggest team up. Cody is the world champion. Like, I do agree with all that, and the bloodline has been like the main story. So like So like, and I don't disagree with that, and I think that is a valid reason for it to be on the main event. But some things to your point is a couple things. One, Drew and Punk have been in their promos saying, "I'm gonna make you bleed. This is gonna be violent." What's the name of the pay-per-view? Bad Blood. So
I was gonna say Hell in a Cell. They also changed the logo to have the Hell in a Cell in it.
That was my second point. Is now
that's their marketing.
Now the logo has the cell in it, and the only match in the card that has the Hell in a Cell match stipulation is Drew Punk. I don't see anyone in the Bloodline. The Bloodline match is gonna be fun. It doesn't have the intensity that Drew, maybe they wanted it to, but it just hasn't really come across. The intensity wise isn't to what Punk and Drew is. I doubt we're gonna see any blood in that tag match. And now that was my other point, is that the Hell in a Cell, and like, so I don't disagree. Like I said, I don't have as hard of a stance, but like I absolutely see the reason, and I don't disagree with it. And also, I don't know if this is a fan made thing.
That is a fan made one.
That's fucking sick. Which for people, well, this isn't on the screen at all, but someone made a Bad Blood fan poster with the bracelet charms saying Punk and Drew with blood all over it.
So cool.
Yeah,
listen.
I think there's more argument to your point for them to main event. But like, it is hard for me to also get past the like, well, it is Cody Roman. Like, that's kind of all still where I'm at. But like, if I had to, I'll tell you this: if I had to choose, I'm probably going Punk Drew.
Yeah,
if I had to choose.
Yeah,
you know
listen. When next Saturday comes around, I'm gonna sleep good that night. Whether Roman Cody main event or Drew CM Punk main event, I'm just thinking logically. I'm thinking just what makes the most sense, and I really do believe Punk and Drew main event, they deserve it. Like, every match that they've had was deserving the main event, and both their first two matches weren't main event. I think one of their three matches deserves to be a main event. Let this one be it.
As a thing is like,
have Roman and Cody open. That would be a cool opener.
I mean, that's where they probably will be if they don't main event.
Yeah.
But I just saw comments and I agree with it that like Roman alone / the Bloodline stuff don't need to main event everything, especially this feels like a big pay-per-view. It is still technically a B show,
but they're hyping it up like in Atlanta, Metro Boomin, like Roman.
But regardless, if you're gonna allow someone else to main event here, this isn't a B show. Let them main event the B show. So the more we're talking about it, the more I'm on your side. Because
Punk Drew. That is a big five. If you want to count Money in the Bank main event. I mean,
Punk Drew is a WrestleMania.
It is. That could be a night one main event.
100%. So I don't know.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't disagree with it. I don't think it's crazy. What is this? Breaking. WWE SummerSlam 2025 is officially headed for New Jersey at MetLife Stadium on Saturday, August 2nd, and Sunday, August 3rd. Oh yeah, they're doing the 2 nights. That's cool.
Yeah, they're starting doing 2 nights now.
Shout out New Jersey.
They love going to MetLife, man. They love MetLife. Yeah. They go there a lot.
Interesting. Oh, and happy birthday. Are we late? 11 hours ago. Happy 43rd to Asuka.
Happy birthday, Asuka.
Sorry, sometimes I got caught up in the thing. Okay.
Happy B-Day.
Something love this. New day. New day stuff.
Oof.
Oh, this is great. I'm having a ball. So we start out backstage. Kofi and Woods. They're both so passive aggressive. So just like, hey man, it's all good. It's all good. It's all right. So like even like Kofi like apologized or something.
He like brought back
Woods was like, well, that was your fault. And then Kofi was like, all right. It's like just so passive aggressive.
He brought back like the trombone, the cereal boxes. He brought back a bunch of like old stuff that they used to do.
And then Woods was mad. He's like, well, we're supposed to be more serious now. And Kofi was like,
we haven't had the belts in a few years.
Yeah, damn, you're right. So it ends up being Kofi's like, you know what? If you have the vision here, like you seem like you kind of know what you want to do, take quarterback. You run it. And then Woods is like, all right, let's do this. Had a match later in the night. against American Made that they end up losing because Woods gets his emotions the best of him, attacks Gable, kind of allows American Made to take advantage of it. 1, 2, 3. New Day loses yet again. We're backstage. Woods is pissed off. He's, we lost again and this, that, and the other. LWO come back again, try to clear things up from 3 fucking weeks ago of like, hey, we're sorry again.
Man.
My bad.
My bad.
Woods is pissed. He's like,
that is your bad.
Fuck you. And we got Ray heading the LWO, and Ray's just being like a chill guy. He's like, hey. So Ray's getting. He's like, hey, you know who you're talking to? Like, let's. I'm apologizing. Relax. Woods ends up being challenge him to a match. We're getting Ray versus Woods next week. So after all, I just want to give a quick little recap because there was 3 separate segments for this whole story. I love this. I love that we talked about last week. Woods is getting the shine, especially now after this week. He's really put out in front. This is awesome. I love this. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely am. Like him saying like you want to be the quarterback, blah blah blah. I'm getting vibes of like when the New Day first formed, it was Woods that brought them all together. Like he was kind of like the quarterback in that sense. And I'm definitely more towards, because we were like, is Woods gonna like? There is a lot. So just kind of unpacking too, just like the Rey Mysterio thing is like Rey was supposed to have a match with Finn. Xavier's like you pushing me to the side, like your priorities, whatever. So then he's like, Finn could wait. I'll give you the match. And then Woods made a comment about how he's not respected because he's never won a singles championship. So I'm thinking
he's like Ray, former world champion, you want to face Finn, also former world champion. Kofi says something. He's like, oh, here you go again, world champion. So because I haven't won a singles champion, I'm not respected.
So it makes me think like, I feel like I'm leaning towards Kofi. Like I definitely think Woods is going to turn heel.
Agreed.
I'm slightly leaning towards Kofi's going to turn heel with him, but I still think he's like in a way of like he's supporting Woods of like, you want to go and like win a singles championship, like I'll be there.
Because we've always been a team. I don't love it, and then I'm not happy about it, but I'll reluctantly.
And maybe that leads to them feuding down the line of Kofi, like Xavier wins, Kofi's sick of him, turns on him, blah blah blah, whatever.
Leading up to Kofi Woods would be fucking.
You know what?
Sick.
I just had like a Jimmy Neutron, like
Brain
That's
blast.
So Raven, like getting like a vision.
Sure.
Maybe this culminates in Xavier Woods as a heel beating Jey Uso. Talk about getting heel heat, and let's say Xavier Woods has the belt for a little bit. That Kofi feud happens. Xavier Kofi WrestleMania IC belt. That that doesn't sound terrible.
Long term. That is long term.
That is, we're looking 6 months ahead. I'm saying that's so Raven. I'm having my vision. I don't know. I think you can. There's a point being. There's a lot of different directions you can do with this. I can see Xavier Woods just going solo and just being like, "Fuck you, Kofi," turning on him straight up. Or they both turn heel. But I do like what they're doing here. Like Ray being involved. I think next week I can definitely see like Woods attacking Ray in some way, whether it's he loses or disqualification.
Even like during the match, like Woods snaps and just beats him the fuck down.
Like he's not letting up. I can 100%. See them furthering Xavier Woods turning heel next week.
I think this is. I'm a really big fan of this story. I've always been a fan of Woods. I think it would be a real shame if all this didn't culminate to Woods finally getting a singles title.
And I'm not like I'm 1,000% in the camp that he should win a world title one day, because I think every member of the New Day winning a world championship
is so
like
sick.
That cements them as up there with some of the best teams ever. They already are considered that, but I think just like that would just be the cherry on top. I would love that, but hell, I'm just asking for an intercontinental title run. Anything, just anything at this point. I'll settle for an IC title reign.
And I honestly think now, I mean, who knows? Like you were kind of saying, maybe this is the longer term thinking. In a funny way, I do see it is more likely for Xavier Woods to beat a Jey Uso than for Woods to randomly beat Braun Breaker.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So now that Jay's got it, it's a little
bit of that. I think the chance of that goes up a little bit.
And that kind of goes to what we've been saying. Then that would mean within the span of this year, we've had the IC title on, or the 365 days. Gunther, Sammy, Braun, Jey, Woods.
That's good.
That's what the IC title should be.
And that's a solid.
You know what I mean? That would be
And then
awesome.
let's say Woods wins the end of this year. He carries it into WrestleMania, 4-month reign. Give it to, boom. That's perfect. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. That's fantasy booking for sure.
But I really like it. I like the
it's
idea
a possibility.
Regardless, like I said, I think it would be a waste of all of this if Woods didn't come out of this.
Yes.
Winning a title.
And to the little details of like him wearing all black and stuff. Like the hints. Like I love that. I really do.
Speaking of hints, we got a Rey Fenix and Pentagon tease. Whoa.
Which one?
It was the one, I admittedly didn't pick up on it. I did see it on Twitter. But it was the Ring of Fire.
Oh.
And had a R, F, and P on it.
I think that's for I don't think that's for them.
What do you think?
I think it's for Viking Raiders. Is that
so? That's what people are saying. That's what people are saying. Let's look at it.
Because I found this tweet. No, Viking Riders. Hold on a second. That's not who I'm looking for. It sounds like a fucking.
I was a little shocked they'll be teasing Lucha Bros so quick, but they did sign. So I was like, fuck it.
So wait, hold on. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is what I was looking at because this is like a
what the fuck?
Yes,
what the fuck?
The runic alphabet. It's called. So it's symbolic.
Okay,
of
go to the. All right, go over to it. Go to the
P.
P. Okay, where's P? Okay, P looks like it. Okay,
VW.
Go over to the F.
F.
Ooh, F's a little. ABCD.
Wait,
F's a little off. F's a little off. Let's go to the R.
R.
R's there.
Huh.
But look it though. Rey Fenix.
No, that's what I thought at first too, and then I saw this because it spells out war. Because see, that's
that's the F. Oh,
we were looking at the other one.
For those, this is a very visual thing.
Yeah. Look up Fadeaway Media on Twitter. He has it mapped out.
So to explain to it, sorry, go back to the thing. So to explain what the fuck we just did,
go ahead, take it.
So this logo, the fiery circle logo, has a P, an F, and an R in it. And then, what was it? The runic alphabet. That F is translated to an A.
Yes.
And then that P is translated to a W or a V, but W.
WV.
And then the R is still an R. And that does spell war. God, that takes the wind out of my sails.
Yeah. So because that's what I thought at first. And then I saw reports.
I'm looking at the.
Then I saw reports that Rey Fenix and Pentagon, like their contracts haven't officially been haven't ended yet. But it's like also it's kind of like it's out of left field because Ivar was kind of doing his thing because Eric got hurt and so that's why I look up War Raiders and now all this shit is coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. I said Viking. They've had a million names since being WWE. I forget what it is. War Raiders. Because there's no confirmation if they're out of the AEW yet. And then Eric's been rehabbing, and Ivar has been. I think he also got hurt like a few months ago, and now he's healthy now. So I guess it makes sense that they'd be returning.
But if that's it had to be on purpose because what a crazy coincidence.
Oh no, yeah. I mean,
Rey Fenix, the initials 100%. Are the same.
No, that's when I saw that.
That has to be on purpose.
First thing I thought,
it's either A on purpose or no one noticed.
Or you know
and then
what?
They're just like,
one person put this together and now everyone's jumping on it. It could be them, maybe. And then we're just really digging deep into something here.
That's interesting.
But yeah,
I'm definitely not. Guessing. I'm definitely not. I'm not fully sold. I'm still holding out because
Nothing's been confirmed.
I just want Rey and Penta to fucking debut.
They are.
That's so funny.
It's happening.
I didn't see any of that runic alphabet stuff. That's so crazy.
I had the same thought process as you, the RFP, and I'm like, oh.
Well, admittedly, I did see it on my. I didn't clock anything. I just kind of saw that and I was like, what is that? And then
Lucha Bros
on Twitter. I didn't think anything. I saw it on Twitter after, and it was then someone explained. I didn't see that, but I saw someone explaining the RFP as Rey and Penta, and then I was like, I knew that. Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
Someone else picked up on it.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one. All right, let's jump over to. We got some NXT stuff. The ending of NXT was fun.
So fun.
All right, we can cover that, and then I want to talk about some Grand Slam.
It was
stuff.
A good show. NXT.
I honestly didn't. I was somewhere. I just ended up catching the last segment. But we had Giulia and Roxanne Perez in a little promo. It was kind of set up like it was a media scrum almost. Giulia was with Funaki, which I loved.
Whenever Funaki gets to show up on our television, it is a treat.
It looks tremendous.
It is a treat.
I honestly didn't love the fake like interview question thing. I didn't love the setup.
Yeah, I get that.
But I think they delivered. They made it work for as best they could. They took the shots at each other. I really liked Giulia just speaking Japanese and then getting it translated to Funaki, you know,
Love that.
and then she dive into some English when she wanted to say something like direct to Roxanne, and then, which people are critical about this, I'm not really sure where I land. Stephanie, how do you pronounce her last name? Vaquer? Stephanie Vaquer? Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to say Vaquer, but I'm probably wrong. Makes herself known at the end of the show via satellite at the end to basically say, whoever wins, I'm next. I'm here, you know? So we got in this title thing.
Sick ending to the show.
Oh, yeah.
Sick ending.
In this little title picture, we got Roxanne, Giulia, and Stephanie. This is fucking sick.
So, yeah, next week, Roxanne, Giulia on the CW debut episode. That's going to be awesome. Next week, Ethan Page, Trick Williams for the world title next week. I definitely...
And Punk's the ref, right?
Punk's the ref. Yeah, and then the week after that, it's going to be Evans versus Orton. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening in NXT right now. I think Wesley and Zachary.
Yes.
I don't know if they have a match next week.
I want to say I saw something next week.
I could be
wrong.
A crazy promo battle.
I missed it.
Look it up. Just like it's a Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle thing.
They bring up like
Gigi Dolan.
Yes,
to keep my fiance's name out your fucking mouth. They were going crazy. Yeah, NXT was great. They did a video packages throughout the show of like their 5 years on
that's
USA.
cool.
So they showed a lot like Adam Cole.
Yeah.
They were showing Rhea Ripley debut. They were showing a lot like Keith Lee.
Oh, that's why Adam Cole was trending. Okay, I saw him. Okay, that makes sense.
The opening shot or the closing shot to when it was on USA their first night was Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa. The closing shot the closing shot to whatever the fuck it was 5 years ago was that. Now it was Giulia, Roxanne with Stephanie in the background. Now with that match,
cool.
We said it before. I'm all for Giulia beating Roxanne.
I'm so Giulia.
I'm so Giulia. I'm so down for her to just beat her in her first match, like present her as this whatever.
Sure.
And you know what? And instead of bringing up Roxanne right away, have a triple threat match between these three women.
Sure, yeah.
Make the most out of it.
Roxanne doesn't need to leave NXT
You have,
right away.
I think Royal Rumble should be the time that she gets the official call-up. She's been the Royal Rumble the last 2 years, and they haven't done it. This Royal Rumble, I think, should be the time. We're still a few months away. Have her feud with some other people. Put someone over. Or have a triple threat match. Just make the most out of her while she's there.
So here's the critique I'm seeing. Is that people are criticizing it that the ending with Stephanie's involvement.
I think I know
that Sean's kind of jumping the gun, and Sean got a little too anxious and just could have maybe two things. One, could have saved Stephanie and just let Giulia and Roxanne breathe, because I don't think they needed the Stephanie edition, but it's cool to have it. And B, people are criticizing it because there's no real story, and all of a sudden, you know. There's story enough with Giulia coming in and she's the hot shot and getting the title. It's not crazy story, but it's something. But now people are, seeing the next step and they're like, well, Stephanie is now doing the same thing. And now she's even just satellite, how she was introduced, just inserting herself into the title picture.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand where people are coming from. I don't disagree with it, but I don't agree with it either, because it's like, does Stephanie need to be involved in this? No, but I think her video package doesn't like necessarily include her in this feud. It's like, hey guys, like I'm here type of thing. And I think like during the promo of Roxanne and Giulia, like Roxanne was talking about like Giulia's successful, on the indies, but she's like,
I was a fan of her before all you.
And she's like, you came for this belt. Like you came after me. So it's like, they're hyping up like the NXT Women's Championship is the belt to go after. They're hyping up the NXT Women's Division as the place to be. So I think it does make sense that Stephanie's like, hey, like I'm here too. Like I'm coming. I want that belt. And also
it's fun that everyone's coming out. Like all these big stars are like, I want,
I think that's cool. And also we saw like to the point of saving Stephanie, and like the Titantron thing kind of like can be a little underwhelming. They already did that with Giulia, of like her coming out after a match and like making her debut.
Sure.
You're gonna do it 2 times in a row. I feel like that's kind of like
take the sales away from Giulia a little. Yeah.
So, and yes, you could qualify saying like, yes, Stephanie technically quote unquote debuting on a Titantron is underwhelming. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I think it's a nice subtle way, and it closes out your 5-year reign on this television network. You needed a big moment. You need something for people to talk about going into the new network, and I think it did that. Yeah. So for what it's worth, I think they accomplished what
it lays the land of like, we already had the best women's division. We just made it better. Just come see us on the CW.
I really have no issue. Like, I was seeing the same critique. I was not seeing it that way at all.
If they weren't moving networks, I'll bet you it would have been different.
It may have been different for sure. But I'm all for it. I like it.
Credit to Roxanne is, I think, with a Giulia debut and now a Stephanie debut looming, it's easy for her to get overshadowed, you know? And I think she held her own in the promo, and she's doing a really good job of being like, hey, I'm still the fucking champ. Like, I'm still here regardless of, you know, I built this brand, I built this division, regardless of whoever shows up. Because these two are 2 of the biggest stars in the world that just debuted. So, like, it can be easy to, like, kind of get, you know, overshadowed.
I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention it again, I'm sure. She's 22, 23 years old.
Stephanie or Roxanne?
Roxanne. And it's like, she's the champ going into all these 2 veterans,
nuts, dude. That's
best wrestlers in the world. Like, to her credit, like, she's accomplished so much, and she is so good at her age. Like, the fact that they trust her enough to be in this position, to be the champ in this feud and whatever's happening post their match, insane trust. It's unbelievable.
I know.
She has such a bright future. It's crazy.
I know Giulia's 29, 30. Stephanie is 31. Yeah, so like, you know, someone who's 10 years younger.
Insane.
Wow. Yeah, she's going to be the future of the main roster. Yep. I mean, all these women are, obviously, but like...
But Roxanne is one of them.
Right.
She is going to be a face of that division for
I would say the next one. Yeah. All right. We got some Grand Slam to go over. Let's start at the top. Jon Moxley defeats Darby Allin in a brutal match to take his AEW title shot against Bryan Danielson.
Darby Allin really, I think, does want to paralyze
He's
himself.
Insane.
He does want to not walk.
They had the spot. Excuse me. They had the spot. They ripped up the padding ringside. And then right after that, Moxley drops him on the corner of the fucking steps.
Nothing good ever comes out of undoing the mats outside.
Oh my God, they went crazy. This match was nuts. I do like, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, where it's like, I like the story of Jon Moxley taking it from Darby, and Darby is AEW, so like. Darby's eventually going to get, I think, the match with Danielson. We even argued maybe he should be the one to take the title off of Danielson. Yep. So this is a way to show Darby's face in it, show that he can stand with the big boys, but like, you know, kind of wait a minute for his eventual come around, you know? So I think everything about this was perfect. You know me, I fucking love Jon Moxley. So Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson at Wrestle Dream officially. That's gonna go. It's gonna kick nuts. Ass. Blackpool Combat
Daniel
Club
says, I'm gonna kick your fucking head in or something like that. Yeah, man, it's gonna be an intense match.
I'm gonna kick your fucking head in.
They're gonna be brutal.
I'm excited.
Bloody.
I'm fired up.
It's gonna be a match of the year contender. That's for damn sure.
Speaking of maybe a match of the year contender, we had Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, man. And I'm hearing these like people are saying he hasn't wrestled in 13 years. He has like
he looked great
for his age and not wrestling in that long. Man, you couldn't tell that dude fucking picked it up like he wrestled last week. Yeah, that was a really cool match. Obviously, they sold, until the last minute of whether Danielson's going to be there or not. McGuinness was like, I'm going to give you 10 seconds. And if not, you have to relinquish the belt or something like that. And then obviously the final countdown starts.
Yeah, I love the bit where he didn't come out to his old theme and then the final countdown starts and then he comes out to that.
Yeah, so that was really funny. Great match. Again, Nigel, for not wrestling in 13 years, he looked fantastic. I love the ending where he's in the crossface and he yells, thank you, taps out. Now it's like, people are questioning, is he going to have more matches or whatever, or is this it?
I think that should be it.
I think obviously, like,
what a great way to go out.
It's his career. It's his, he goes out how he wants to. But I think from how the story we've been told about this feud and like their history, it seems like this was, if I was Nigel, this would have been a great send off, a great way to go out.
I mean, I think this is the reason they had the match, is to send them off. Sure. It's like we were talking about how, like, you know, they kind of shoved this in between, like, you know, the Darby involvement, and also Christian Cage has the contract and he made his presence felt. Oh my God,
that was the stupidest thing ever, by the way. Him showing up and then Kip Sabian stealing the pad. I thought that was so dumb.
Maybe I just don't know the Kip Sabian part of the patriarchy story, but I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there.
I can't give you a full history there either, but yeah, I thought it was stupid.
But yeah, I thought that was it. After the ending, now it kind of seems like, oh, that's why they shoved this match in. It's because they wanted to get the Nigel send off, and I'm assuming all this, obviously, but yeah, I would love if the end off is the he's saying thank you to Danielson, he's saying thank you to everyone. Yep. Taps out.
Yeah,
oh, it's beautiful.
I think that's a really beautiful way to go out for sure.
Speaking of not knowing what Kip Sabian's doing, Rampage Dunzo.
Is it?
See that Rampage is done with the new, or I don't know if anything's official, but like I think they are looking toward a TV deal with, I think, Warner, and they aren't interested in, I think the story, and this could always be rumors. So whoever the TV deal is they're doing, they're not interested in Rampage. They're more interested in having Dynamite and then starting the new AEW Shockwave.
Yes.
As like a, you know, so it's like going back to 2 shows. Let's get an update on where that's at.
I've been hearing that there might be a deal with Max. It's set where that's where their pay-per-views would be.
That'd be sick. Supposedly.
I would love that. I would also love that.
I've been seeing Time Warner or Warner, whatever it is, and then I've heard Fox. I've heard, I think with Warner, I think like Tubi is like under it. So I've seen a bunch of stuff. But one of the more prominent things I've been seeing is that, like, regardless, Rampage seems like it's on the chopping block, which I don't think is a bad thing. You could have,
honestly, it could have ended weeks ago, and I wouldn't have noticed, to be honest with you.
All right, this is from WON, what's that, Wrestling Observer? Wrestling Observer News, I think that's what WON is.
Yeah.
One source indicated this past week that AEW Rampage would not be continued, and that AEW's new 3rd show, like he called Shockwave, would be the show being shopped around to Fox and likely others. Yes. John Orange noted that AEW is pitching another package, quote, primarily to broadcast channels. That would mean networks, which would be ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, Telemundo, Univision, CW, or Ion. And sorry, so I guess nothing's set in stone. Nothing's set.
Just rumors.
But I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being more true than not with Rampage.
Getting
the chop.
It's, I don't know. It's just like
it feels like it's unnecessary.
10 o'clock on a Friday, like after wrestling, people are already like exhausted from watching SmackDown. It's a weird time, weird day.
It feels like Velocity and who watched, or like the main event.
Yeah, it's just to show that it features, like, I'm not saying it's like no big name stars or anything like that, but it's like you save your best stuff for your Dynamite and Collision and stuff like that. Rampage takes a backseat to those shows.
I want to talk about my favorite match before we end the show. We're getting close, but I want to talk about my favorite match on Grand Slam. The Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Oh my God.
Fire match.
One of the best tag matches. I would say one of the best tag matches of this year. Definitely. People are saying in AEW Dynamite history. And I didn't expect, everyone in this match is unbelievable. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect them to put on a classic.
Yeah, no, this was a
They went fucking
This was
nuts.
a banger. I love the move the Bucks do, where it's like the guy goes off the rope. It's like a springboard. He does a move to them, and then they flip into the power bomb. I forget.
Someone Meltzer driver?
He did it was like, so I forget which Jackson it was. The guy's like hanging on the rope. So it's like in a step, and he's like leaning like this, and he did the swanton onto him, and he bounced off of the ropes, did like a front flip.
Oh yes, and then he caught him, right?
Bomb. Yes. I think they do it. They do it differently, but that was the first time they did it with like a swanton, I believe. And then the sequence of like, I forget. I think it was someone got hit with the reverse like head DDT type of thing. The one that Pac hit on Ospreay weeks ago. The reverse one.
Yeah.
Sends him out of the ring. fucking double clothesline, Canadian destroy, like just the sequence
and
that
then, like,
was
hidden
insane.
blade out of fucking
hidden blade out of nowhere. It was wild. Double styles clash at one point. Yeah, no, that match slapped.
Tore it down. One of my favorite matches, probably not my match of the year, but it's in my top 10.
Yeah, it's up
for sure.
And then Don Callis gets involved at the end, kind of.
Which I'm glad, because I'm not a Don Callis fan. I don't think he adds much to any story he's really in, TBH, respectfully. But he did do, you know, as we always forget, like technically Ospreay and Fletcher are a part of the Don Callis family.
Yeah.
Uses as you were saying, the screwdriver. Kyle Fletcher goes to use it. Will Ospreay stops him.
Yep.
And, you know, obviously this gives the Bucks whatever. Thank God this didn't end the match. If this ended the match, I would have been pissed. But we got the kick out. We did do one more sequence, and then that was the end of the match. Yeah. But like, that didn't end it solely. It definitely helped the end of it. But yeah, no, this was. It's also like, I get, and we were talking about this in hot takes, I think, about AEW, but it's like, I get if some things aren't your style or whatever, and people know Ospreay is one of the best. Kyle Fletcher is getting the flowers that he deserves. The Bucks get hate. The Bucks get so much hate, and it's like, man, but they can pull out matches like this.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you gotta respect. You might not like their style, but that's fine.
But they can give you 5-star matches.
You gotta understand that they can put on a banger. It might not be your cup of tea, but like, oh man, this was unbelievable.
It was a ball.
All right, last bit before we go over into the after party on patreon.com/AskWrestling. Finally, our prayers have been answered. Hook retired the FTW championship, and I think this was a great note.
I said a prayer when he said I got an announcement.
Yep, I was like, oh my God, they're doing it. They're doing it.
Please give the belt up.
Yeah, had a nice ending match with Roddy. Shook hands, which I think was nice.
Gave the belt to his dad.
Which, like, if you're going to retire it, like, we were already over the FTW championship, but, like, I am absolutely over the moon happy that, like, you know, if you're going to send it off, give it a good send-off. You know, they didn't bury it. Hook was, he's graduated from it.
Has his belt.
Hugged his dad.
Hook, retires it.
Really, really good. Really good.
I saw people on Twitter immediately after, like, oh, introduce a new title. Give him a new title. Like, no, so that's not what that means. That's not what that means. This wasn't even like an official like like they didn't like recognize the rights. Like it was just literally a toy that was being passed around that was included in matches.
I think it helped out Hook for a while.
It did, but he was
he's graduated.
He's graduated
for sure
from a long time ago.
Agree.
So yeah, be done with that. Have him move on to the TNT Championship. Have him move on to anything.
Absolutely.
Anything.
The TNT Championship isn't that higher than the FTW Championship. So move on to that. You know what I mean? Yep. Have that.
Absolutely.
All right. That's the end of the main show. We are headed over to patreon.com/Stache Club. We got a lot, kind of mumbled that, but you know where to go.
Fuck yeah.
We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of stuff. You'll hear the preview anyway, but we're answering questions. We're talking about some stuff we didn't touch on in this main show. But again, head over there, $5.99 a month. You get the whole catalog. You get the bonus episode and this episode for ad-free anyway.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the support. As always, we appreciate it endlessly. We're creeping up on episode 100.
Crazy.
Let us know if you'd want to see anything special. We don't really have any ideas or anything.
Tell us how you think we should celebrate.
I don't know. The guest thing, having guests is always tricky because it never seems to work as smoothly as we want. But we'll figure something out. You know, like I said, leave suggestions. But with that said, we're going over to the Patreon. Thank you for being here. Dante, I'll see you over there.
See you over there.
We're gonna get our IDs checked and get a stamp on our hand.
Gotta get in line. Peace.
I rewatched Fight Club for the first time since like college.
The only one I have watched is the Stone Cold one.
I was gonna mention that.
But that's wild.
That's insane.
That's just an insane statement to make.
Every time Kevin Owens is in the ring, the announcers mention that he has never been and straight up cannot be superplexed.
Oh wow.
News to me. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't know if that's true or not.
I didn't hear about that.
I've never picked up on the announcers making that a point.